The 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. Was it overwhelming? Was it underwhelming? I'll tell you what I'm excited to say. It is finally coming to an end. Yes, today marks the end of this season, and it was certainly a headline maker. But overall, we saw 13 named storms, which is just one shy of our 30-year average. That sits at 14. Now, last year we had 18 named storms, so in comparison to last season, it was a little bit underwhelming. Thankfully, though, none of these storms made landfall right here in the United States, but we definitely had some heavy hitters. In fact, three of these storms went on to become major hurricanes, those being Erin, also Umberto, and of course the heavy haymaker that was Melissa, which made landfall with some of the fastest wind speeds we have ever seen here across the Atlantic. Maximum sustained winds hit 185 miles per hour. Now that ties Dorian and the Florida Keys hurricane that we had all the way back in 1935, but it also broke records in terms of its gusts. Think about it like this: maximum sustained winds, that's the average wind speed over a 2 minute window. But gusts, well, those could happen at the blink of an eye. We had a gust of 252 miles per hour, and that was recorded by the hurricane hunters who fly into the eye of the storm back in October on the 27th of this year. So overall, thankfully, we didn't have any landfalls. We were just below our seasonal average. But with those three major hurricanes that we had being Category 5 strength, we've only seen that happen one other time across the Atlantic, and that was in 2005, in which we had four hurricanes reach that Category 5 status, those being Erin, also Rita, Wilma, and the heavy hitter, definitely Katrina back in '05. And those storms amounted to nearly $200 billion worth of damage. Now, this year, the damage counter is up to $10 billion, so much less than what we saw back in '05. But where most of these storms originated from was just off the western coast of Africa. We call this the Cabo Verde Islands, responsible for 60% of the tropical waves that we see and 85% of the major hurricanes that we see on any given Atlantic hurricane season. And this one was no exception. All of the major hurricanes started and originated off the western coast of Africa as tropical waves. But why didn't we see any landfalls this year? Well, it has to do with the steering flow. That is the Bermuda High, which typically sits in the center of the Atlantic. The further east it is, well, the less chance that we'll have for these systems to reach landfall here in the United States. Another factor that's going to mitigate any chance of these storms making landfall is the jet stream and where it's positioned. This year, the jet was very far to the south, dipping all the way across the